Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Back to Work Quick and Safe with SAP Health and Safety Solutions. I am your moderator, Aarti, Marketing Specialist at YASH Technologies. The importance of technology has become more profound now than ever before. As we enter the post-peak period of the global pandemic, now is the time for EHS heads across the globe to embrace technology and realize how it can help employees be safer and healthier. In this session today, our EHS experts from SAP, Christian Polivka, and from YASH Technologies, Yogesh Nagpal and Arun Bhaskar, will discuss the role of technology in the new work environment, examine how technology can be used to accelerate towards efficiency and productivity, and lastly, we'll share actionable insights that will enable your teams to get back to work safely and confidently. We now move to the agenda for today's session. So we'll cover SAP's vision and commitment towards EHS, the new normal after COVID-19. Team from YASH will briefly touch upon the safety and business continuity with SAP EHS, introduce our solution SafeWork, the implementation timeline and the cost, and also at the end of the session you will be able to understand how together YASH and SAP can be a partner of choice for your EHS initiatives. Before we get started, I would like to quickly take you through the housekeeping items. The session will be recorded and the link will be shared to all the attendees later this week. You will see a control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. The orange button on the top right side of your screen can be used to collapse and expand the control panel. Through the presentation, the staff will manage the Q&A functionality. If you have any questions for our speakers, please feel free to enter the same in the questions window on your control panel. Your queries will be answered at the end of the session. All the attendee microphone will be muted to prevent any distractions. And lastly, your participation is important all throughout the session. So before we begin, I hand it over to Christian to kindly take this over.
Thanks a lot. And it's a real honor to join this webinar and support. I will not take too much time. As you have seen on the agenda, my motivation is really just to have a quick introduction from an SAP side as well. Me personally, I'm the solution owner of the EHS portfolio. In that role, I'm basically looking over the go-to-market and steering the overall solution strategy. So therefore, as I said, just a couple of slides. This one, I thought this is important that you see how we look as SAP entirely at our customers and where our HSE portfolio is embedded in that. So basically, what you see here, the O data, O stands for operational data. So this is where SAP is really strong on, and we have a long experience in managing all the different applications along the supply chain within companies, supporting the value chain. And beside that, we have also a strong focus on the experience data, and we bring that together in an intelligent way to really provide insight for decision making. And you see here, this is the portfolio of EHS, what we are also looking today on. But before I deep dive into that, let's have an historic view on where we are coming from when it comes to EHS within SAP. And this is what I have put together in this slide. This is really important for me. Also, just to make clear what we are talking about. It's I'm spending a lot of time at the business conferences, HSE conferences, And often when I talk to business leaders in that area, one of the first reactions is often, yeah, I have seen SAP EHS, but this looks not good. And we have looked at it and we didn't think this will serve our needs. And when I ask them, yeah, when have you looked at that? And then they say, oh, 10 years ago, it was not good. So therefore, the key message here is really, we are basically now in the third generation of EHS applications from SAP. The first generation was started mid-90s, and it started on the product safety side. So it was driven by chemical manufacturers. And then based on these first decisions, then later on health and safety was also onboarded and implemented on that platform, which was not always natively good, let's put it that way. And also the technology was just old. And I sometimes visit customers and I kind of feel their pain with these applications, honestly. So that was also realized at SAP. And in 2010, SAP decided to totally renovate the health and safety and environment applications. So we used at that time the latest technology and everything was done from scratch. So new technology, total new applications. That was then the second generation of application. And this is referred to EHSM, just to make it different from the classic one was called EHS. So there we added an M to management. So that was then continuously developed over the coming 5 years until 2015, when SAP as such decided on a total new ERP version. So you might have heard S4HANA. Within the more than 40 years of SAP, that was the fourth generation of ERP. So quite a big thing for SAP. And we as EHS applications also managed to be part of that. In the first release, EHS was also already embedded. So we could use some of the investment, some of the applications, which we started in 2010. And then this new platform, S4HANA, has total new possibilities for us. And since that time, we just develop on this platform. And this is the future for all of our customers. And it's very powerful when it comes to analytics. And SAP made a huge effort when it comes to user interface. So totally new paradigms were introduced. And based on that, we improved again our portfolio, and this is the current version and generation. So speaking of the third generation of EHS application. So therefore, for me, it's really important when you have, or if you have some touch points with SAP EHS, it's really the question, what was it, when was it, and maybe it's worth to have a look at the latest version, as there was a lot of investment done by SAP into that. So that as the first message on this one. And if we go to the next slide here, I don't want to go into the details here. It's just practitioners among you will realize, so the blue boxes which I put in the middle here, these are the processes which we are covering. And of course, there are always some kind of side processes, but I would claim that this is complete in terms of what HSE practitioners need to manage their daily business. So we cover all the processes around incident management. The health and safety block is around risk assessment. Everything is interconnected. So if you do hazardous substance management, you have the approval process, which goes then into the risk assessment. You maintain the data. They can be leveraged there. And in the risk assessment, you can do workplace sampling campaigns so that automatically in the risk assessment, the measurement values will be matched against the local OELs, and that gives you then a risk indication. And also based on the risk assessment, you will have kind of evidence-based proposals for surveillance protocols. This is kind of the handover to the occupational health module, where then the doctors maintain the medical services, scheduling, do brief consultations, everything what doctors need in a occupational corporate environment. The audit management, straightforward standard process. Then the third block is on environment management, compliance management, big thing. We even have here out of the box integration with external content provider. So that is then pulled into our application. And we have our strength in the operational translation of these regulations so that people know what they have to do and where. And then emission management, looking at all kinds of emissions, wastewater, and of course, greenhouse gas emissions. Management of change, more towards process safety, but it's not just lately, last couple of years, we see a lot of demand really about process handover, process triggering, and this is what we do in the maintenance safety. Can we get one slide back, please? So this entire suite of EHS applications is talking to each other, integrated, sharing master data. But as said, we are sitting in the S4 suite, so it's not something on site. It's everything. You access your launchpad in S4, and based on your role, you basically get automatically access and authorizations, and you're able to see the right tools and applications for you. And we share all these objects out of SAP, talking about materials, assets, and people, of course. So it's no copying. It's really, if something is changed in the original SAP application, as we use the shared object in the same moment, it's updated, or it appears in the same updated way on the EHS side. And you see at the bottom here, asset management and personnel data, the main benefits what we have here sitting in SAP. Also contractor management, often a challenge for our clients. And then the last bulk, light blue, implementation add-ons. And this is really what we see in the upcoming minutes, what will be presented by YASH. So we have a strong standard, but of course, based on certain use cases and based on local requirements, there's always a need for implementation adoption. Let's put it that way. Good. And with that, let's go to the next slide. Here, I just quickly wanted to illustrate how we look at the world when it comes to HSE. Myself, I was a safety engineer, so I think any kind of HSE process or application, what is really required, it needs to be engaging for the workforce, for the people in the field. If they're not using it, then you just failed. And therefore, a lot of our effort goes into user experience, make it easy for the workers. And of course, then on this, what you see here as EHS practitioners, we also need to have sophisticated tools. That's the comprehensive part to do our jobs. And then, of course, we often under pressure, cost pressure, we need to shine in front of our management. So therefore, the EHS practitioners need the right tools to shine and be transparent in front of management, to give them easy access to what is going on when it comes to safety, so that we can show what we do. And If we go to the next slide, so this is basically how we really embed this design philosophy in our applications to have the right tools for the different stakeholders to serve all the needs. And with that, I'm at the end of my intro. Before we hand over to the next speaker, there will be a poll. So if you could quickly take some time to answer the questions, and then we can continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Over to you, Arun.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. Thanks, Arti. So, team, now we are just going to see about the next agenda for session today. So, we are going to talk about the new normal after COVID-19. Okay, so we know that organizations are bracing up to address to this new normal after this with this ongoing pandemic. So we are just bringing you on the table like how this SAP EHS solution can be tailored and it can meet those requirements of the business so that they can quickly adapt to this new normal and start moving faster to gain up their business and have a better, safer and workplace for their employees and their contractors. Okay, so with this, like we can see, this is a new normal for workplace where we have brought in the few capabilities of SAP EHS, like with the mobile reporting, and you can see with this mobile reporting that they can get the different types of self-declaration form that the employees will be filling in, and they can plan their shift and how many employees are going to come back into the operation, and they can redesign the workplaces so that the safe workplace, the new norms can be built in, and the safety procedures, new policies and procedures can be built into their organizations. And more and more emphasis will be put onto this health and sanitization process so that their workforce or the employees having the cleaner or hygiene workplace and the disciplines into their organizations. And as you know, with this emphasize the social distancing, that the other factors of the new normal will be adapted by the organizations. Okay, so these are the new factors how the industries will be bracing up for the new normal. Let us see what is the solution that what we are bringing into the offering for the team here. So this is, we are trying to build a resilient workplace. All the industries are trying to come up with a new protocols how they should be bracing up for getting adapting to this new normal. So we have brought in a solution where we address those few areas of the new normal. So we have designed this process flow, which you're seeing. It is high level process flow of our solution. It starts with primarily health checklist forms where the employees will be receiving a notification from the HR team to get their health conditions before they resume the operations, so that when the employees are their home, they can update their health conditions, submit that report, and that data is being accessed through the mobile or through the tablets or desktops. The data gets saved or mapped into the SAP records. It goes back to the SAP, where we have certain automatic validation and filtering process, where the HR team can validate those potential employees who are having the stable health condition, whom they can plan to bring back to the operations. So they can filter out those list of employees who are eligible and who are capable enough that they can come back to the operation considering their health conditions. And with that data the reports which they are getting, the same reports is being the reports is triggered to the site EHS team as well as the site security team, where the further screening will be happening, which you see on the third part, with that the health screening which will happen at the gate. So when the employees resume to the operation, the thermal scanning, the PPE checks, all that will be done at the entry of the gate, so that multi-level screening is done, so that before they start from their home, there is a self-declaration they have to give it. And once they're reporting to the operation, they will be done with certain levels of health screening. And with those, all those multiple screening, then the employees who are found fit, they're allowed to go into the operation and start the working of the process. So during the process, if there is any illness or such kind of a deviation is found, they have been reported. That can be reported using the mobile application tool which we have. Again, that is a native application from the SAP which we are offering. With that, you can little bit of customization. You can report an illness that gets notified to the site EHS team. They can track the illness, who was a person, which shift he came, and they can track their particular HR records. Once that is being done, they will schedule the health surveillance and those things, so that the persons goes for some additional medical test and get their results from the system. And appropriately with the recommendations from the doctor, they can check the employee's health condition, whether he is found to be having symptomatic condition or he is fit to work into the operations. Okay, so based on that, that appropriate decision can be taken in. If the employee is found positive, so further actions and this process will be taking in, where we bring in the next major part of that, where you're identifying the risk assessment, or you're doing the health risk assessment at the workplace, identifying the factors that were affecting this, causing this infection. What are the additional engineering measures or the PPE measure control measures can be brought in into the workplace. With that control measures, they can track and have a follow-up risk assessment to see how this functioning, how they are able to control the spread within the organization. With this, again, this can be integrated with our audit and inspection module, where we have predefined workplace audit checklist and inspection checklist built, where the organization can trigger this audit to maintain the sanity of the workplace, so that these audits can be done in a regular frequency, so that it will help them to control those measures which they need to do it on a regular or periodic time. So this findings and the inspection will help the organization to be in comply with their to manage this COVID situation at their workplace. Okay, not only that, whatever the actions have been tracked to those deviations, the risk assessments and the audits, all those actions can be monitored to the monitoring tool, where all the actions, the due date, who is the person responsible, all those factors can be monitored. And with that action getting completed, all those being monitored by the EHS manager, he can get a better visibility of how the progress is going on. With all this being said, for the management, it is always a visibility part of view, where they want to see how their organization, how their sites are performing related to this COVID or to this pandemic situation. So last, we have a dashboards, integrated data analytic dashboard, where the organizations can see, or the leadership team can see the sites, the number of positive cases have been reported, how many potential cases were reported, how the sites, how many deviations were reported, how many risk and audits have been conducted. So all this data analytics is being gathered as a whole sub from the central repository, and the organization gets this as a clear representation of the dashboard. Okay. So with this being said, we'll go a little bit deep dive into the each solution. I'll just quickly show the each functionality, how this is being done into the system. So this is a safety and business continuity with an SAP EHS solution that we want to bring to the organization, so that they can use this solution to run these applications. So as you said, we have handpicked few solutions: incident management, occupational health, risk assessment, and audit management. All these are integrated with HR system. So these modules are integrated, and we have brought this solution for you. So you can see this is a primary health checklist form that can be accessed by the employees. They can fill in the certain few questions. Based on the questions that is being updated, they'll get their response quickly into their pop-up screen, that what is the next step for them, what they can do. And with this data, the organization can take the next measure, like what will happen, how they can, which employees fit to come back to the operation, and which employees they have to track and bring it later or some point of time. So this helps the organization to have a better status on their health condition. So this is a pre-joining checklist form where the employees have to fill in. So once this has been filled, when the operations is being going on, when somebody is finding a incident or he's finding that some symptomatic condition is being happened, that can be reported using the mobile application. They can trigger an health surveillance task for that particular employee. The notifications will be sent based on the surveillance to the site EHS manager, HR team, everybody. And as Christian mentioned, this is combining with occupational health, where you can report the employee's health record. He can, medical team can give their recommendations, everything. Based on that, the appropriate next measures will be taken in. Okay, so moving on, this is a risk assessment where you can do the health risk assessment surveillance for an employee. You can schedule the medical surveillance. As you see, there is a screen where you can schedule it, get their medical test, their test results, get their medical records updated. And with this, if the employee is found to have some symptomatic condition, they can do the contact tracing, like who all the employees came into that shift, who are the employees who have to go for those additional health checkups. All those can be identified from this risk assessment. And at the end of the day, the whole risk summary report can be generated and submitted to the regulatory authorities as well. Going back, you see this is an audit, predefined audit checklist, which we have created related to COVID that will have the related information with that the organization has to comply with. And this predefined audits will help the organization that they can do this in a regular frequency. They need not have it as a like a scheduled audit. It can be done in the time and the purpose when they need it. This can be accessed through the mobile application. This can be accessed through the remote when the inspection is being done at the site. Again, as we said, this will help the organization to generate the audit reports and submit it to the regulatory authorities, and that will help them to keep a better monitoring of their workplace. Okay, so this is the integrated dashboard which you see. These dashboards are like, as we said, all the repository of data is getting updated into the system. With this, we bring in the different parameters and the KPIs where the organization can get the real-time dashboards, site level, organization level, and at the leadership level, where they can have a better visibility how their sites and organization is performing to manage this pandemic situation. Okay. So with this being said, I think we'll have a poll questions where you can answer it, and then we'll go rest of the solution demonstration.
Thank you, Arun. Over to you, Yogesh.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you, Arun, for setting this stage and giving a quick background on the solution, the need. I think I'll take you a little bit deeper into this Safe at Work solution, what this solution is, what are the key features, highlights, and some more dynamics around this solution. So, Arun, if you move to the next slide. So over here, we would like to introduce you to Safe at Work. Here's the logo, and the brochure is available to download at our website. So this solution has been built in partnership with SAP, working hand in hand together in bringing out this pre-packaged best practices solution. The focus has been COVID and pandemic management, but for sure, this caters to our needs beyond that, beyond this current scenario. This solution can be deployed quickly. I think the time frame which we are talking about over here is under 3 months, under 12 weeks time. So within 10 weeks, you can go live with your first site with the solution. This solution can be integrated with your S4 or ECC landscape wherever you are working on, primarily to give you a futuristic roadmap, taking advantage of the best of the Fiori and the mobile application which SAP S4 brings together. A lot of mobile application and interactive dashboards are already made part of it. Moving to the next slide, Arun. So again, the time really does not permit to go for a detailed demonstration, but if you see the storyline around, it completely covers that from the checklist, the health checklist which has been sent to an employee when he's at his home, confirming whether that person can come to office or should he still continue to be at home based upon his health condition, and then how the screening data gets captured, how this entire incident management reporting, deviation reporting, health surveillance protocols, and the notification trigger. This all has been captured into a quick 3 minutes video which talks about the SAP screens and the layout of the solution. We'll quickly see that video, and probably that will give you a good glimpse of how the solution has been built towards this COVID management. So I don't know if you can bring that video quickly. Arun, somehow we don't hear the audio, but that's okay. So you see, the lady receives a form, and now she is filling the form there. Again, she answers some quick questions. This is a web form which she receives on her email on Outlook, completely integrated. And the system on the go directly gives a recommendation that you need to, you will get a further, you need a further follow-up with your HR before you come. And now the data is getting loaded back into the SAP system. It's tightly integrated with SAP. All data goes in there, and a refined checklist or a filtered checklist is sent to the security. Now we talk about the multi-level screening and health management. For any health deviation, we are reporting an incident. It can be safety observation. Going into the further details, we go into the investigation. SAP provides a very strong foundation for doing the root cause analysis based upon 5Y or any other specific methodology you use. The lessons learned are well captured and communicated. All the tasks can be created into the system and can be assigned to respective stakeholders. A majority of these things can be done from your mobile application, so giving you a flexibility and agility to respond to any unforeseen circumstances quickly. Risk assessment and audit management, what Arun talked about into some of the previous slides, has been already inbuilt and templatized into the system for giving you a quick access and ease of use. So you see there are standard templates which have been built with specific questions. Once we get those questions answered, we can evaluate the audit. Based upon the audit results, we can create more corrective actions and then plan for the further steps. These steps can be about sanitization, this can be about social distancing, change in the procedures, guidelines, and at the end, for the CXO level visibility, higher leadership visibility, there are integrated dashboards. Pretty much an end-to-end solution which covers the holistic framework about getting your people, getting all of us back to work. Again, the keyword quick and safe. Absolutely, we all wanted to get back to office. We all want our workforce to come back to office when we have the right procedures, and this solution provide you an accelerated framework, a standardized procedures to get us up to the speed and get us going. So on the next slide, we talk about, I don't know if you can just move the slide. Yes. So as we were talking about that innovative packages, this entire package has been again customized. They has been packaged together using the best practices, and we have brought down the implementation time to a very concise and narrowed down implementation approach. So with a quick discover and preparation phase, we will be able to go live at your first site within first 10 weeks of time. Yes, you heard it right. Within 10 weeks of time, your first site can be up with this standard features of the solution, which we have highlighted here. Again, we have also put a very attractive price, a promotional price for this product as well. So again, this is an implementation price. All the licenses, the necessary licenses for EHSM, S4HANA and Analytics has to be procured from SAP directly, or YASH as a gold partner can help you on the licensing part as well. Now, there are definitely, when we are talking about a short timeline here, there are a couple of things which are worth mentioning. This is a pre-packaged solution. The scope does not change much. We have captured a lot of best practices templates with respect to reports, audits, dashboards. All those comes as a part. Any further enhancement may call for additional time and cost. But from a functionality standpoint, you will see more than 85 to 90% of the business functions specific to current scenario are being well covered into this given scope. Similarly, again, we are assuming that HR master data will be created. You're using SAP HR master data and asset management so that we leverage the power of integration with SAP by using asset management, the asset warehouse management and material management and HR. But if you are using a third-party system for that, that can also be integrated as at additional efforts. So pretty much, I'll say that the value, it can be accomplished quickly, can be realized quickly, and I think that is what is the need of the hour in today's scenario. Going to the next slide, Arun. So if I have to summarize what we all talked about in the last around 40 minutes or so, we talked about a product, a solution which gives you value and benefits. These are some of the benefits which has been highlighted here. So you see that solution is ready to handle your current need. It's all scalable to meet your future need as well, because the framework is all open. Today you may start with this predefined standard functionalities and requirements which are coming as a part of this package, but you can always expand it to the next layer, going for the chemical inventory management or management of change, or if you would like to add the work safety and work permit management, environmental compliance, a lot of these features which makes SAP solution a holistic sustainability solution can be accomplished using the same framework. Faster implementation time, as we saw that the solution can be implemented in 10 weeks, a lot of mobile application, predefined checklist, template to save an implementation time, a lot of best practices just to ensure that the risk is minimized and you are getting what most of the industry experts are recommending in today's scenario. Integrated dashboards which helps us with the smart decision making with respect to the statistics and analytics which we get on a real-time basis. So that's pretty much it on the solution side. I think I thought of taking in the next couple of minutes talking about a quick case study and about YASH Technologies for few of you who probably do not know YASH in detail. So Arun, if you can move to the next slide. Team, at this point of time, if you have any specific questions, you can use the chat window to post the question. Once we go through our YASH introduction in next quick 5-7 minutes, we'll be open for questions. Christian, myself, and Arun would be available to address any query which you have around this solution or this product which we have created. So YASH Technologies is a holistic IT service provider company. We are today we are a 6,000 plus this highly skilled and talented manpower. We are present across 40 different locations in all across the geography. We are present in Europe. We have around 7 offices in Europe, around 14 offices in US, 10 offices in India. Pretty much everywhere we are present. We are partner of choice for a huge number of companies. A lot of Fortune 500 companies are our partners, and you will see some of them in these slides to come. Our global headquarters is based on East Moline, Illinois. Our strong head force is based out of India at multiple delivery centers. We try to be a completely global and a local company. While we bring the width and coverage of a global organization, we are pretty much local to you with our local offices, reps, and our sales team present very close to you, somewhere in a city where you are based at. So we being a mid-size IT partner, our focus has been on certain solutions and certain technologies for sure. And some of these industries which you have seen below, banking, food, the life sciences, healthcare, manufacturing are key for us, very, very close to our heart. And SAP specifically, the next slide pretty much talks about our SAP practice. Half of our strength runs on SAP. So with 3,000 plus 3,000 odd people running on SAP, it makes us a respectable partner into the SAP space. You can see the huge experience we bring with respect to our implementation projects or rollout projects, and most importantly, our application maintenance services, which we are providing to almost 250 of our clients. Talk about a solution in SAP. We work hand in hand with SAP in providing solutions around cloud technology, on-prem solution, the analytic solution, and whatnot. In fact, we have also created a lot of pre-packaged industry-specific solution. The way you see this Safe at Work, we have a couple of more industry-focused solution. We call it as business all-in-one solution for your rapid deployment and adoption of S4 system, S4 HANA systems. Now moving to the subject again, our SAP EHS expertise. Out of this SAP, you see that EHSM has been highlighted here. We are one of the focused partner with SAP, working hand in hand on the SAP EHS space. We bring in close to 500 plus man years of experience in the SAP EHS. The differentiator which we clearly bring over here is the domain expertise which we bring on the go. We have people who come from varied industries: mining, manufacturing, chemical, life sciences, the oil and gas, construction. People have spent their lives into the domain, addressing various health and safety needs, product safety and stewardship needs, talking about the compliance requirements, fire safety, risk assessment, and whatnot, and then adding together with the technology of doing the things in SAP in the digital space, giving you a holistic digital framework is something which is a clear differentiator for us. We are completely on board with SAP in keeping ourselves ready with the latest S4 HANA demo systems. So talk about the solution and we are ready with the demos for there as well. It's a truly global center of excellence where we have people and projects being delivered all across the geographies and all across the locations. With this rich experience, with this the diversity of clients and portfolio which we cover, we are truly amazed to be a partner, strategic partner with SAP in running through and walking through these technologies and being an advisory panel into some of the industry forums, talking about REACH compliance, talking about OSHA regulation changes, various the new ROHS and REACH guidelines which are coming from China and Asia Pacific legislation, California Prop 65 registration. So talk about anything which happens into the regulatory space or the environment, health and safety space. We are keeping ourselves up to date and create the right value for our customers. My next slide pretty much talks about a quick case study, and that would be pretty much my last slide so that we open for questions. So we thought of bringing some of the case study, and in fact, let me focus on the one considering the time we have in hand. So one of a global medical device company which implemented SAP EHS solution in 2019. The outcome, we always start with the end in mind. So the outcome was that we were able to reduce the recordable injuries by 10 to 15% within the first year of our implementation. So if we compare our 2018 injuries versus 2019 injuries, we see a complete slowdown or a reduction in the injuries, and that's definitely a key value advantage which the customer has accomplished. Now this company is not small. We're talking about a company which has 40 manufacturing locations across 10 countries. The rollout was done in 12 different languages. So with the power of SAP being an integrated solution in a multilingual environment and keeping up to the speed with various industry requirements, the solution which was provided over here pretty much was around the holistic sustainability framework, where we had the incident management, environment management, risk assessment, audit management, and permit management all implemented in multiple phases based upon the business priorities. Not only this OSHA in injury reduction, but we also could map ourselves and our injury rate with respect to our industry standard. And we with this implementation of this application, we could bring ourselves below the industry average for injury rate for this industry segment. NCAIS 126418 code, which is specifically for the medical device manufacturing companies. This NACIS code, the injury rate, what we have for this company is far better than what is there as an industry trend. Not only this, with the help of this digital solution, now we are able to track the emissions, the waste being generated, the energy consumption, natural gas and fuel consumption, and your sustainability parameters in a more effective way that can be converted into a corresponding carbon value and hence being reported to the CDP framework, which probably governs the entire sustainability index. So from a D minus in 2016, in 2019 we are aiming at a B minus grade. Again, definitely we have a way forward there, but we are able to accomplish a significant increase and significance uprise into our performance with respect to environmental and sustainability performance. This again, a lot of dashboards which get triggered from the system at the timely basis. So all the EHS manager and the plant manager gets a dashboard for all reportable injuries at the end of every week, and observations which have been reported. Every supervisor get to know their observation through a quick smart analytical dashboard, and then this all data can be is being reflected into a holistic, the company-wide dashboard, which represent the all company, all the global location, and then creates a heat map of the number of injuries, number of incidents, the increased energy consumption, which is beyond the exceptional limits. All those heat maps are being generated and are available to the organization so that they know where to focus on and which regions are performing well. And this is, we talked about just one case study. There are definitely more. We did it for the power sector, utilities companies, the waste management companies, chemical companies, where we help them author the 10,000 plus of their safety data sheet across the languages, across the geographies. A lot more case studies coming up, which we can talk about into our further conversation. That's pretty much it from my side here. And again, I would like to sincerely thank you all for your participation, and we look forward for more questions from your end. At this point of time, there'll be a poll question coming up ahead for you. We would request you to help us with this poll question and keep typing here the questions which myself, Arun, and Christian, we all are eager to help you out with, or eager to address your queries. Arti, over to you.
Yes, Yogesh. Thank you so much, speakers, for this wonderful session.